When making a memory book for dementia residents and dementia units, it's important to include key life events and information about friends and family. But as importantly, it's really important to include aspects of interest, high interest for the dementia resident, those activities that they've enjoyed and received a lot of happiness from in their life, which will have stronger memories for them than other activities. So for example, if the dementia resident has been a good cook and she was a homemaker, she loved cooking, birthday cakes, wedding cakes, Christmas Day was a big event with all the cooking, then putting in recipes of her favourite cake, photos of her cooking, photos of the family eating, their meal on Christmas Day, which she's prepared, these will invoke strong positive memories for the dementia resident and, imbue that person with happiness and a sense of recognition and context from those photos and memories in the book. Or another example may be that if your mother has been brought up on the farm and she had a pony, as many children on farms do here in New Zealand, that's always a very treasured memory, filled with pleasure, seeing you with the pony. Most dementia residents who have had a pony will be able to, have that recognition when the picture of them with the pony's brought out. So including with that will be pictures of the farm, them on the farm, photos of the homestead, photos of the family in front of the homestead. All of those pictures will bring back context and memories because that's been such a huge part of their life. Living on a farm is all about the homestead, the animals and the ponies and the horses. So that's why these pictures are really important to give context and recognition. It's better really to focus on a few good, lovely pictures, blown up, one picture per page, heading underneath it, and just go into a few pictures each time you're with the person and going through the memory book, because otherwise it can get too much. Going through a whole memory book at any one sitting is too much. So categorize it. Categorize each section so that when you're going through the memory book with the person, you can focus on childhood one session, adolescence and being a teenager the next session, being married and the young children another time, when they get older and all their volunteer organisations they're involved in. Just create it in sections and have an agenda like they do at the front of every book, don't they? What is it? Contents. So have a contents at the front of all these various life stages and put in things of specific note. So if, for example, your mother's also been a Girl Guide trainer or she's helped with Girl Guides, then anything to do with newspaper articles on Girl Guides, maybe she's been in the photograph, pamphlets of the Girl Guides mottos, they're a favourite here in New Zealand. Put that in as well. So it's like postcards, memorabilia, small notes, interesting letters, birthday cards, anniversary cards. Dementia residents actually really like this sort of thing. Their top drawer beside their bed is filled with this stuff. Funeral orations and birthday cards and wedding invites. It's just like a big clump of stuff that they just love to go through. And treasured items they keep either in their beside their bed or in their walker carrier bag. So all these things can be put in a memory book, treasured items in one lovely place, categorised, and then when you go through it with the dementia resident, they can start to get context of their life. Okay, so in childhood, this was me, this was my horse, this was my sister, this was my mother and father, and photos of that and me when I was young. And then when I was a teenager, I was racing, I was in dressage competitions, horse competitions, and my awards that I won. And then when I became a school teacher, my certificate of when I got through training college, then my wedding photo, and then the children when they were young and as they grew up, And then they got married and photos of that. And then, of course, me, when I retired and I belonged to voluntary organisations, whatever that, maybe I'd continued Girl Guides, or I'd gone on to Meals on Wheels, which is a big thing here in New Zealand, delivering meals to people that can't, elderly people. Crisis Centre takes a bit of cognition for that, with people that are under stress and depression, anxiety, high anxiety, etc. So this lovely book has all these wonderful treasured memories put in the book with all the keepsakes, and they can just be gone through happily at any time by the dementia resident. So this is a really good way of being able to give context and relevance and reminding that person of their life, their history being their life. And so when they can get context with that, it brings them to the present. It builds their self-respect. It enables them to be present. Because if you haven't got a history, if you can't remember your history, it's very difficult to be confident and calm and have context in the present. But if you know your history, and then you can come right up into the present with your history, because the memory book's coming right up to the point when you come into the dementia unit. So if you've been in a independent unit in a retirement village before you came into the dementia unit, the last place you lived, there'll be a photo of that, so you recognize that. And then now you're living in a different place, which is this, you may call it nursing home or unit or whatever you are calling it, to the dementia resident, and they have that whole lifelong context of the full situation. So then they can have confidence, because there's not these big blanks that they're having to cope with otherwise, that dementia, gives this problem for people, but it fills in the blanks for people so that then they can be self-assured and have a conversation with people on the basis of the memory book. That's their life. This is who they are. They can speak confidently to that, rather than people asking them questions about their life. They can't remember. They can't communicate. It's really depressing, and also the person loses confidence. Whereas if you've got your own book that you can refer to, and you know that it's you, you recognise it's you, you've been reminded that it's you if you've forgotten, then you can speak with confidence to the person who's communicating to you. And the book is doing a big part of that communicating for you, that wonderful memory book. So these are the two books I've written, The Resident's Voice and The Resident's Rise, both from a dementia unit, both on Amazon, and in the description below, my website. Thank you for your subscriptions and your viewing and your comments and your interest. I so appreciate it. Thank you.